Greetings and salutations, everybody. Good morning and happy hump day to everybody out there. Today is Wednesday. And so two things, I said two things I wanted to talk about in this video today and share with you guys, kind of what's going on. First one, we're going to be talking about Huawei and other Chinese manufactured devices and just the security threats that the government says they impose on our nation. And then I'm going to dive into something that I feel that is the absolute killer for Sprint, kind of re-elaborate on it, because I have said this in another video in the past, but just kind of really go kind of touch base with. So if you guys like reading articles, you guys can check out my blogger. Link will be in the description of the video. So I'm starting to type up articles again and just kind of work with that. But let's start off with the first topic: Chinese manufactured smartphones, and are they really a threat to our country? And that begs to be a very, very great question, because we can't take these things lightly. And I know some people will overlook it because they're interested in, say, like the Honor series devices, or the Huawei Mate 10 Pro, or the Huawei Elite. I mean, there's a bunch of Huawei devices that are like getting really popular, and Huawei makes some really good phones. I mean, I have the Honor 8. I know Honor is a subdivision of Huawei, and the Honor 8 has been a great phone. If Boost Mobile would up their bring your own device and have a SIM card that supports this device, I would definitely have this activated on my Boost Mobile account and use it as my daily driver. Even though it's an older flagship device, and it's not set to get 8.0 Oreo, I'd still use it. I think it's a phenomenal phone. I dig the cameras on it. So Huawei and Honor, they've been doing good, but now because certain companies like AT&T pulled out its deal because of the government pressure that was put on them. Of course, the government basically, stating that Huawei is a security threat to our nation for us using their products and signing into our Gmail accounts, our bank accounts, and all kinds of other things. They believe that these companies that manufacture Android devices that are made in China are ciphering information about us, and the government is worried that that information can be used against us should a country decide to rise up and actually challenge, I don't want to say it like that, like challenge the United States, but in a way kind of like that, yeah. And so, and they have every right to be. I mean, one thing the government is responsible for is for us and for our safety. And so, yes, there's a lot of conspiracy theories, but we're not going to get into all that. But so Huawei is losing deals because they were hoping to become mainstream here in the United States, such as companies like Samsung and Apple and LG. And I know Huawei wanted a big piece of that pie. They didn't want to be considered a Class B manufacturer. They wanted to rank as a Class A. And this could definitely hurt their ability of them wanting to break into the industry as far as becoming a Class A manufacturer, that people are, that recognize them for their awesome work. And with that comes the question, are other companies that are, based out of China going to be affected? Will ZTE be affected? Will Xiaomi be affected? And the answer is yes. Even though we don't see that they're currently targeting them, eventually it's going to come to that point. And what does that mean for all of us? Well, one thing that we know for sure is that Android smartphones that are manufactured in China are way cheaper. Okay, you can find really good phones for like half the price. Like the Honor 8, when I bought the Honor 8, it was about like $300+ at the time. Okay, when it was released, it was about $400 or so, a little bit close to $500, but nothing like a flagship smartphone is now, where we have certain flagships that are, Korean manufactured or U.S. manufactured. They are going for about $900 to $1,000 for them. So That was one of the things that I guess consumers liked about Chinese manufactured Android devices, is the fact that while you got all these banging cool specs and really spiffy features, you were paying half the price of what you would pay for something that was a well-known market name. And so it's really interesting to see what happens next. I mean, we know that Huawei is pretty much targeted right now. ZTE was targeted in the past, but who knows if they're going to start doing that. And as well with like Xiaomi and some other companies that you'd be able to actually purchase their products through the web and have it delivered to you. We'll see what happens then. So, okay, let's kind of move forward. Let's go with this next topic, and it's Sprint related. And I'm sure a lot of Sprint customers that are longtime loyal Sprint customers can relate to this section of the video, and that's how all these promotional plans that Sprint has is doing more harm than good. And the reason why I say that is because that is one of the major key things for an unhappy Sprint customer. And the reason why that Sprint customers who have actually been with the company longer than 10 years are now seeking another provider. And it's not prices, because I will say this, Sprint does have the cheapest, the lowest rate, fully unlimited plan compared to the other providers. They do. It doesn't matter how much people want to argue and say this and that and the third. They do. The problem is that there's too many promotional plans, and your longtime loyal customers are not going to sit back and want to look over the savings they'll get over time versus savings they can get upfront right now. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I'm basically referring into like the 5 lines for $100, or the 4 lines for $25, 5th line free. The different ways that Sprint likes to reword his promotional plan, but they all mean the same thing. They're basically 5 lines for $100. The thing is that at the end of the day, if you were to call in, say you were a customer who's been with Sprint since 1999, and you were to call in and say, I want that plan, they can't give it to you. Especially if you say you want to cancel and you talk to their retention department. They can't give it to you. When they say they don't have access to it, honestly, they don't have access to the plan. It sounds silly, it sounds stupid, but it's true. They don't have access to the plan. So they can't just go and do a plan switch and put you on that. And then if they were to, say, even try to escalate it up and see if Sprint Corporation would make an exception, the answer is going to come back down as no. Because there's a plan that's built for long-term customers that Sprint feels is a great deal, which is the Unlimited Freedom Standard Definition Plan. You have to be targeted for this plan in order for you to get it. And really all it is like, if you look at the base plan, the Unlimited Freedom Plan, okay, let's take into work 3 lines, right? So say you have 3 lines, you switch to the Unlimited Freedom Plan. The original base plan that has like no promotional discounts, savings, or whatever, because it's already a discounted plan. The first line's billed at 65, second line's billed at 45, and the third line's billed at 35. If you have auto pay, that removes $15 off the bill, so 60, 40, 30. Okay, that's $130 right then and there, or $145 if you don't have auto pay. Okay, for 3 lines. Now, the standard definition plan basically builds the first line at 55, the second line at 35, and the third line at 25. $15 off, right, with auto pay. So that means 3 lines for 100 with auto pay, or 3 lines for 115 if you don't have auto pay. Now, the difference between the two is that obviously the original Unlimited Freedom comes with unlimited talk, text, and data, 10 gigabytes of mobile hotspot, and you can sign up for a Hulu subscription at $7.99, so it's the one with ads. You can sign up and have that basically free as long as you have the Unlimited Freedom plan. It ties into your Sprint account, so you don't pay anything, and that's a decent deal because, I mean, compared to T-Mobile's Netflix requires you to have 2 lines of service. Say you only have 1 line and you can be paying $65 a month for services. Well, then, you can still have Hulu. You don't need a second line to have that service. So you have those two plans. You have the unlimited freedom, you have the standard definition. The drawback with the standard definition is that you don't get the 10 gigabytes of mobile hotspot. You can add that to the lines that you want to use. So say only one of them is going to be using it, well then it's a $10 add-on to one of the lines. The other two remain at $35.25 or whatever price that they're, whatever phone line you're putting it on. If you're putting it on the 25, then it bumps it to 35. Same with the 35, it bumps it to 45. But also streaming video is capped at DVD quality. So you wouldn't be able to stream video at 1080p full HD, okay? You'd be capped at basically 480p, which is DVD quality. Which is not bad at all, okay? Like, yes, it's not full HD resolution on your display, but on a small display, it's not as badly viewed as if you were placing it on a TV screen that's a 55-inch TV screen. You'll notice the difference in quality. But even on a smartphone display, 5 inches or bigger, you'll still notice the differences, but not that drastically. So I mean, that's the difference between the two. Now, someone who ports in or switches over to Sprint and gets like the 5 lines for 100, they're going to get some pretty good savings for a year's time because the promotional plan only lasts like a year or maybe a year and a half for a customer, and then it goes back up to the normal price of the unlimited freedom plan. Now try explaining that to someone who's been with the company since 1999 and let them know that the standard definition plan is something for them and that does not have an expiration date. As long as the customer stays on that plan, it doesn't switch to another plan. Okay, yes, and the standard definition, if you were to do the math and the standard definition plan over 5 years time, you have more savings than what you would if you started on or if you switched over to the 5 lines for 100 because that promotion had an expiration date that lasted in a year. So the savings is better with the standard definition plan than it is with the 5 lines for 100. The problem is that people want things up front. They don't want to see what it's going to be 5 years from now and what they save. Matter of fact, if you were to try to explain that to them, their greatest comeback is, well, why can't I have the 5 lines for 100 now and then switch to that plan when it's going to change? Like, at the end of the day, long-term customers don't feel valued by Sprint. They really don't. And the customer service today with Sprint is starting to lack. I can't stress that enough. But that's not so much of Sprint's fault. I have to say this. It's not really so much Sprint's fault. People got to really stop and think for a second. I mean, I know that they want customer service and they're like, this is the reason why I'm leaving you guys. Your customer service sucks. But it's not only Sprint that's affected by this. Every carrier is affected by this. And that's just because it's today's generation of people. Okay? It's today's generation of people. One of the things that I noticed, and I think it's funny, it's like when a Sprint customer is like, they hate the fact that we outsource. And I usually hear that when because they talk to someone that's, say, an outsourced call center in the Philippines. But why do they hate, customer care that's located in the Philippines? Well, the honest reason why is because, one, that customer who made an effort to say that they hate the fact that we outsource, jobs to different countries. One, they feel entitled to something because usually when they get into the issue why they called, they feel entitled to something and think that we could just magically bend things just for that one customer and make it happen. And it doesn't work that way. We can't bend plans. We can't just give you a free phone. Those types of requests, And when they talk to someone in the Philippines, like people in the Philippines, they're not so easily pushed around. One, because obviously they know that they're like, no one can really touch them because they're across the Pacific Ocean. So what do they have to worry about? And two, I mean, they're making great money working for a call center that's, sourced to Sprint to handle Sprint customer care. So yeah, they may sound a little robotic, like their empathy sounds way off. They'll tell you that, they're sorry that the customer service experience is bad, but when they say it, they sound very robotic, and it agitates people. Then they get transferred over to retention, and retention deals with it, and they got to hear, like, they hate the fact that, they outsource. But, Sprint is not the only one that outsources. All companies in the United States outsource because the labor is cheaper for businesses. And so, they would rather do that. But at the end of the day, these promotional plans that Sprint has absolutely is killing the company. Like, they got a great product with the unlimited freedom already by itself. Okay, I mean, one, it is cheaper. It's cheaper than Verizon's plans. It's cheaper than T-Mobile's plans, and it's cheaper than AT&T's plans. And what you get out of it is fine. You get unlimited talk, text, and data. You get 10 gigabytes of mobile hotspot tethering, and you get a subscription to Hulu. Like, you got a pretty good bundle there for 65, 35. Well, 65, 45, 35. With auto pay makes it 130. Without it makes it 145. Each additional line you add on is another 35 without auto pay, or $30 with auto pay. You got a really good deal. The reason why most customers today don't see savings within that plan is because the phones that they are leasing. That is another major issue with today, and a lot of consumers don't get it. Today's phones cost as much as a house payment or a car payment. I mean, if you're leasing the iPhone 10, that phone is $1,000 or more. So obviously your monthly payments for 24 months are going to be at a high rate, like $41 or $44. And the same for the Galaxy Note 8, the same for the Galaxy S8. I mean, those are high price, high tier phones. So you're looking at a monthly payment of, normally without any type of promotional deal, being, above $30 a month. So if you have that for, like, 3 lines, you're looking to pay a pretty much high bill, because, let's say your bill payment was like $30 a month for the device you chose, right? $30 for the 3 phones. That's what, that's like $90 right then and there that you're paying, on top of $145 if you don't have auto pay. It's almost $200, and they're wondering why their bill is $200 for 3 lines. It's not so much as the plan, it's the devices that you have. Plus, you gotta throw insurance on them because you gotta protect them. So $39 for 3. Say you got, like, total equipment protection plus, which is the $13. Got 3 of them. So I mean, these things come into play. Why consumers are paying so much on a monthly bill? It's the type of phone you chose. I mean, if you went with the Sprint Deals phones, like their Tier 1 phones, which is $10 down, $5 a month, or their Tier 2 phones, which is, believe that one's $20 down, $10 a month, those are cheaper. Those won't significantly raise your bill high, When you put insurance on the phone, you're paying $10 a month for, that's $23. So $23 added on top. That's way less than paying, between $90 to $120 more a month on flagship devices just to, have phone service. So, but Sprint has a really good thing with the unlimited freedom plan. I really do think that these promotional plans do more harm than good. One, long-time customers, just customers in general, don't want to look for the long-run savings. You can explain to your blue in the face over a 5-year span how much a customer is going to save being on this plan. It's not going to change the fact that they're looking at numbers, and they're looking at 5 lines for $100. But then they also get confused too, and think that if they go and switch on that plan and they have leased phones, they think that it's going to be 5 lines for $100. And the 5 lines for $100, it does not include leased devices. Let me make this clear. Any plan that Sprint has, not just Sprint, but T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, does not include your equipment charge. How could they know what you're paying per month for your equipment? They wouldn't know, and be able to put that on a giant sized banner and say that your bill is going to be, like, for 3 lines 150 or 140. They don't know what phone you have. So realistically, think about it for a second and understand that's just for the services. That's just for the services they're offering. That does not include your equipment charges. So when you see, like, 5 lines for $100, you're like, I really got to have that plan because it's going to save me money ultimately in the up front. You got to think $100 with auto pay for 5 lines is what it is. It does not include your 5 iPhone 10 payments. It does not include your 5 Galaxy Note 8 payments. Those things are not calculated on that billboard or on that banner. So consumers got to understand that your bill is not going to be $100. It's just not. And then also understand too that when a Sprint representative is calculating what your bill is going to be, they can only calculate what your bill will be before taxes. We cannot give you an exact figure which would include taxes, because taxes may vary based on the principal amount of the bill. If you're paying a plans and equipment charges of $198 versus someone else who's paying a plans and equipment charges of $120, the tax rate difference for both customers in the same city, same county, same state is still going to be different, because the principal amount of customer A is 198 and the principal amount of customer B is 120. So their tax, what their taxes and fees are, is going to be late. People are upset about surcharges and they're like, we're getting ripped off. You're not getting ripped off, okay? When they say it is government taxes and fees, surcharges is government fees. Yes, it is a fee that Sprint charges, but Sprint pays that tax ahead of time and are rebilling the consumers for it. People get upset. Why do I have to pay for your taxes and fees? Well, dummy, you use services, you use the data, you use the talk and the text. The company cannot be there if they don't pay this tax to the government. But should the company be, responsible for the taxes all on its own when consumers are using its products? No. So yes, the fee gets handed down. Okay, doo-doo rolls downhill, people. So, that's just the way that it works. You may hate it. But my thing is that Sprint experimented with Boost Mobile by cutting taxes out. So taxes and fees are included in the $50 unlimited plan on Boost Mobile. Now I'm thinking that Sprint should make the jump to the same way and basically include taxes and fees in its unlimited freedom plan. And since they're already having people choose whack devices that are extremely high, then recover your taxes back through the devices, because that's what T-Mobile is doing. You guys may not believe it, but yes, T-Mobile does not tax you on its service plans, because the taxes that they tax their customers is on devices that customers purchase. And people upgrade and change phones like they change underwears nowadays. So you will recover your taxes through devices that you sell through your company. So I think Sprint should join that market. Get away from these surcharges and federal and state taxes on a customer's bill, because that would actually put smiles on a lot of their customers' faces. That would alleviate a lot of the stress and a lot of the things that that Sprint customers are unsatisfied with. But people just like to hear that no taxes and fees. Taxes and fees are already included in the plan. Like, make the switch, Sprint. It's working out great for Boost Mobile. Boost Mobile customers have been extremely happy. I don't see, ever since Boost Mobile switched over to having taxes and fees included in their unlimited plan, I don't see a lot of backlash and things against Boost Mobile, because a lot of people just don't argue the point. They don't have taxes and fees anymore on their plans. People are happy. So Sprint, I really think that you should probably consider that. Forget these promotional plans, these entry promotional plans. They're doing more harm to your company than they're doing good. Whether you read the statistics reports or not, they're doing more harm. And then also they're setting up people to leave again. So all the people that you may have enticed to come over to Sprint with your 5 lines for 100, once that promotional plan changes, a good 60 to 70% of those customers are back exiting the company and porting out to another provider, because they're no longer getting the savings they got when they joined you. And no matter what plan and no matter what you say to keep them, they know. They know already. Sprint's in 4th place for a reason. So they know that they could, in their way of saying it, dumb down their service connections to the internet world by choosing Sprint service, because they're going to get a very cheap plan. But once that plan's promotion ends and there's no extension for it, they'll go back to T-Mobile or they'll go back to Verizon. Because if they're going to pay, in their eyes, they're going to pay a higher amount on the bill, they might as well pay it with a company that's going to provide them better service. And that's all subjective. It just depends on where you're at in the country, because Sprint does really good here where I'm at. Sprint signal is excellent here where I'm at, but it may not be where you're at. And so I always kind of tell people that when it comes to the 4 major carriers, they service areas, and areas that they're in, one's going to do better than the other. It's inevitable. It's the facts of the Webernet. So guys, that's pretty much it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed today's AM show, let me know by dropping me a like. That lets me know that you guys enjoyed these topics. If you guys have anything you guys want to add on to it, the description is where you can add your thoughts and opinions, and I will read them, and so will the rest of everyone else who comes across this video. First time checking out my video, I would appreciate that subscribe. Hit that subscribe button and the bell option so you guys will know when I upload a video. And you can check out some of my past videos too as well. There's something in there for everybody. But until then, guys, that's it. That's the AM show for you guys. And so I'm going to enjoy the rest of my day, and you guys should too. And talk to y'all on the next one. Aloha. Have a great day.